Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Swaranjit Singh, and topic for today's presentation is assessment of obstructive sleep apnea among patients undergoing ambulatory blood pressure monitoring. Introduction. Hypertension defined as systolic blood pressure more than 140 mm of Hg or diastolic blood pressure more than 90 mm Hg, and is a major growing health problem across the globe, and it is the most common risk factor for the cardiovascular diseases. Ambulatory BP may be clinically more important in hypertension in cases of diabetes mellitus. Ambulatory blood pressure monitoring allows the examination of nocturnal BP dipping status. Ambulatory blood pressure monitoring provides three types of information, that is diurnal rhythm of blood pressure, mean daytime and night BP, and the BP variability. A normal BP dip is defined as more than 10% but less than 20% reduction in BP during the sleep as compared to the BP during the awake period. The extreme dippers are the individuals that with more than 20% reduction in BP during the sleep as compared with the BP during the awake period. And then there are non-dippers that are divided into two subtypes. First is the reduced dippers, in which is defined as a more than 0% but less than 10% reduction in BP during the sleep. And second are the reverse dippers, in which BP rises rather than decreasing during the sleep. Now, obstructive sleep apnea is one of the most frequent sleep disorders characterized by intermittent collapse of the upper airway during sleep, resulting in partial or the total obstruction, that is hypopneas or apneas. What are the aims and objectives? First, to classify the patients undergoing ambulatory BP monitoring as being dippers or non-dippers, and then to assess the OSA among patients classified as dippers and non-dippers on ambulatory BP monitoring. Materials and methods used are: the present study was conducted on 60 hypertensive patients, and this study was carried out in the Department of Internal Medicine at Guru Gobind Singh Medical College and Hospital, Faridkot. The inclusion criteria for the study is age more than 18 years and the hypertensive patient above 18 years of age. The exclusion criteria is the patients that are already diagnosed with OSA, with chest deformities, morbid obesity, pregnancy, and a patient who have bronchial asthma or COPD. Methodology: a total of 60 patients were included in this study, and the patient, hypertensive patient who have indications of ambulatory BP monitoring was undergo 24-hour BP monitoring by the Suntec Bravo unit, which measures BP range of 40 to 260 mm Hg in every 50 to 30 minutes. Informed consent was taken from each participant. Polysomnography was undertaken in all patients who was undergoing ambulatory BP monitoring. The polysomnography was carried out using a machine sleep care, and the complete clinical history through clinical examination was done on all the patients. Now, what are the results? This table shows that out of 60 patients, 35 were males and 25 were females. This table shows the distribution of age. That are majority of patients, more 55% of the patients were in the age group of 41 to 60 years, followed by age group of 61 to 80 years, and followed by 20 to 40 years. This table shows that out of 60 participants, 47 patients complained of snoring. Then, as followed by 51% patient complained of daytime sleepiness, 30% reported poor quality of sleep, while 36% reported morning headaches. Among 47 patients with the symptom of snoring, majority of the patients was non-dippers, that is 70%. And the 48% patients were reduced dippers, and rest patients are the reverse dippers. Daytime sleepiness was more common among the non-dippers as compared to dippers. Among patients who had good quality of sleep, the 55% patients were dippers, and the remaining 44 patients were non-dippers. And the difference that is observed between these two groups is statistically significant. This table shows that among these 60 subjects, 33% of the participants were dippers, and the remaining 67% were non-dippers. Out of non-dippers, the 35% of patients were reduced dippers, and the 32% were the reverse dippers. The patient who reported poor quality of sleep, that is significantly higher number was that of patients with non-dipping pattern. This table compared the association of obstructive sleep apnea with the type of BP pattern. The obstructive sleep apnea was present in 95% of the non-dippers and the 65% patients of dippers, while it is absent in 5% of non-dippers and 35% of dippers. And this difference was seen as statistically significant. This table compared the BMI with severity of OSA. The patient with higher BMI have more severe OSA. This table compared severity of OSA with dippers and type of non-dippers. Among dippers, the 35% did not have OSA, while 10% has mild OSA, and 15% of the patient has moderate OSA. Among reduced dippers, 9.5% did not have OSA, 28.6% had mild OSA, and the majority had moderate OSA. And the patients who are reverse dippers, all of that patient had OSA, while 42% has mild and 58% had moderate OSA. Now, OSA is one of the known risk factors for the cardiovascular diseases, and it was observed that diastolic BP during sleep and heart rate during sleep were significantly more among non-dippers than dippers. And patients with increased nocturnal BP have more risk than other hypertensive patients. And conclusion of the study is that this study found a significant number of non-dippers among hypertensive patients who are at higher risk of developing the cardiovascular complication in comparison to nocturnal dippers who are the normal physiological variants. Individuals with higher body mass index that are overweight or obese had a higher proportion of non-dippers than dippers. And the obstructive sleep apnea was quite common among the hypertensive patients and found to be more prevalent among the non-dippers. And the severity of OSA was also found to be higher among the non-dippers as compared to the dippers. And there is a need for early detection of non-dippers group among the hypertensive patients using the ambulatory BP monitoring, and thus further screen the non-dippers for the comorbid like conditions like obesity and obstructive sleep apnea. Now, what are limitation of the study? That is a single-centric study and with a limited sample size.
Hello.
Thank you.
How many of your patients were obese, more than 25 BMI?
About 38 patients.
38 patients were above the 25. And what is the mechanism of this reverse dipper?
Sir, actually during the sleep normal physiologically there is a reduction in the sympathetic activity, but in a reverse dippers there is increase in sympathetic activity, thus increasing the nocturnal beat.
That is the mechanism.
Yes.
You are talking about ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, and you have not touched about what is ambulatory blood pressure monitoring levels. You are talking about dippers, non-dippers and correlation with OSA. So basically, how many people were on ambulatory blood pressure monitoring? What is the definition of hypertension in ambulatory blood pressure monitoring criteria?
Sir, hypertension is more, if the systolic blood pressure is more than 140 and the diastolic is more than 90 mm of...
That is your office blood pressure monitoring. When we go for ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, the definition of hypertension changes. You know that or you don't know that? You don't know that. So I will tell you, ambulatory blood pressure monitoring average has to be less than 130/80. If it is more than 130/80, 24 hours monitoring, we call it as hypertension. Daytime monitoring is different, that is 135/85 is hypertension. Nighttime monitoring, if it is less than 120/80, it is hypertension. So if you don't know the ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, what is the use of doing a study on ambulatory blood pressure monitoring? Right? So then how will you correlate? We are first concerned about that criteria for hypertension according to ambulatory blood pressure monitoring. How many people have OSA? So that defeats the purpose as well as it doesn't correlate with the heading you are talking about. So I suggest next time you do any study, any paper, anything, first read the heading and then correlate the heading with your study or what presentation you are making. And first and foremost is ABPM. You should know what is ABPM. When you don't know ABPM, then whole purpose of this study is gone. Thank you.